Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here. Shall we begin? Jumbo baby.
Hey, baby.
What's happening? Hot stuff?
You are? It's beautiful. Hey, J.A.M fam. How are you? How is everybody?
Oh, yeah. The camera's on.
We are recording our podcast and we're recording video to provide you a much more total experience. I guess it's the totality of the experience of visual and audio stimulation.
It's a bit more immersive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely immersive. Yes. Absolutely. So, welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast. You are in the right place if you're interested in hearing and learning and growing in regard to relationships and all things sex, money, and real estate. So,
yes, all of our favorite topics, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's three great topics.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all of our favorite topics.
Right. There's three of them.
It's up there for sure. Cool. I am Bill Jameson.
Yes, and I'm Nancy Jameson.
And here we are. Cool. So what's we begin these podcasts with a little bit of magic. Why don't you let people know, what magic is?
So we define magic as your ability to influence yourself, your others. My gosh, we're silly today, folks. We define magic as your ability to influence yourself, others, or life. So
in an empowering way.
In an empowering way, absolutely. So life would be business, or life would be home projects, or life would be, cleaning out your closet, like that, like things around you, that anything associated with life or business goals, financial goals, practical goals, those types of things. So what we like to do is focus on magic, because what you focus on expands.
Yes. And
we have a tremendous amount of magic to share. I mean, it's just been such an extraordinary week here at Camp Jameson and
Jameson HQ.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And May is for sure a really busy month for us. And, May is really our December, honestly. So anywho, we start off each episode with magic, and we encourage you to focus on magic that is in your life, because again, the more you focus on magic, the more magic shows up in really extraordinary ways. So
if you are tuning in,
yes,
if you are, because you're listening right now, go ahead and take a moment and pause this recording for just a few moments and reflect on something, it could be extraordinary or it could not feel extraordinary, but something that has come up in your life that, has created some gratitude for you. It's a great, like Nancy said, it's a great practice to get in. And we don't often ask our listeners to pause the recording. But this is a great time right now. And we'll pause right now. 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Yay! Welcome back.
I bet you thought of something awesome for sure. Cool. And while you were thinking about that, I was thinking about my gratitude and magic as well.
Awesome.
And but I can start off with that we celebrated last week.
Yes.
Hanging out in marriage and holy matrimony for 22 years.
Yes, we did.
In a row.
In a row. That's funny. Ooh. I bet you that there's probably something around that. People have hung out together for years. However, it hasn't been consecutively.
Yeah, we've been on and we've been off, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
No, my goodness.
We got divorced. We got back together again.
Sure.
Divorced. Back
it
together.
happens.
Absolutely.
There's all different kinds of love styles, as we're aware of. So
yeah, and we've strung together 22 years of marriage
consecutively.
Yes,
we have
almost 25 years of being together as well. So all great stuff. Living in all great parts of the country, from Chicago to New York and Atlanta, and a couple pit stops here and there is fantastic.
Yep.
Travel. Yeah. So that was amazing last week, and then this week we celebrated our remarriage. Is that a thing?
It's our
2.0.
Yeah, it's our 2.0
marriage 2.0. And I went through. I think we told this story. I feel like on one of the podcasts where we talked about how we had the boys marry us again last year with some new rings and some new vows, and it was really beautiful. So that was actually a week after, which is today, right? Of our our actual or our 1.0 marriage. So yeah, 2 weeks of straight celebration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's really something, like all the little things and just an awareness around them, and remember this, and remember this, and remember this, and just really appreciating all of those teeny tiny small moments and the giant moments. And one of the giant moments is that Rex is born on our first anniversary. So we got married May 30th, and then 7 years later, our big baby boy was born on May 30th.
Our 7-year itch was having a child.
Yes, exactly. 7 years and no itch. Yeah. That's what
okay, there you go.
That's what that episode's called, 7 years and no itch.
That's right.
Ooh. And so we celebrated him, and we celebrated all of those things, and it was just really beautiful. On Memorial Day, we took a family day hike, and we were in nature intentionally, and so that was really beautiful. So yeah. Did you have any other magic that you wanted to share?
I just want to, gratitude for hanging out with me last weekend as we went through and did something we'd never done before. We went to Six Flags.
Yes, we did.
And we went sans the children.
Yeah.
Which was pretty amazing in itself.
Yeah.
They were a little jealous.
Yes, they were.
And yes.
There's a little pushback on that.
Yep. And yes, we didn't care because we kept it moving. And
we
so.
Like, thank you very much for your opinion. Bye.
Yep. So there's the two of us, and what we didn't spend on their tickets, we spent on flash passes. Cut the lines at every possible time we could. Legally, because we had the flash passes.
Yeah.
Got to the front of the roller coasters and just had an amazing time.
Yes.
So appreciate that.
Yeah. So the intention was, Bill's like, hey, let's, what do you think about going to Six Flags for our anniversary? And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the best idea. We love roller coasters. I don't know how we have never been to like a Six Flags, Great Adventure, Great America before. I mean, the only other time that we had ever been to an amusement park like that was when we took the boys to Legoland.
Legoland in
like
Florida.
2017, maybe. And that was a lot of fun. And it's just kind of crazy to me. We've been hanging out for 25 years and no Six Flags. However, you were so sweet. You were like, baby, they have like 13 roller coasters, and we're gonna ride every single one of them.
And we got close. We got close.
Really fun. Yeah,
we rode 9 or 10.
Well, I think only one was closed,
and a couple of them we rode twice.
A couple of them were closed, and yes, we did ride a few of them twice.
And one of them we almost didn't ride because it broke down.
And that was, what was it, Rolling Thunder? No, the Great American Scream Machine.
Yeah, and
that's what it was.
And then we decided to wait in line to see how long it would take that maintenance crew to. Because we were right up front. We were next.
We had the flash pass.
Because we had the flash pass. And, they fixed the roller coaster. And we're like, well, what's crazier, riding roller coasters for 22 years of marriage or waiting in line to get on a roller coaster that just broke?
But they just fixed it.
But it just broke. And so what's hilarious is we rode the roller coaster. Yes. We had a great time. And then we were going over to the next roller coaster and we looked back and it was broken again.
It was broken again. So like our the one pass through, the one ride was the one that we were on.
That was the one we were on the front of too, wasn't it? Were Were we on the front?
Yeah, no, we were on the right of the front.
That one.
You got the video on it, which is illegal.
Oh yeah,
because
that's right. You're not supposed to carry your phone.
Yeah, immediate ejection from the park, and there's signs everywhere. But here's Bill with the.
So if any of y'all are like, there's nothing to be said about that. That's
Correct.
just between us.
Don't tell us. What stays on this podcast or heard on this podcast stays on this podcast.
There you go. Oh, exactly. I like that for a tagline.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Anywho. So that was amazing.
Yep.
The Superman ride was amazing because you're belly out, hands out, legs out. Oh my gosh, that was so intense. And you're doing all these loops and flips and twists, and you're literally like cruising like Superman, and then you're like over the water on that one where you're going around the corner. But yes, it was really beautiful. And then again, no kids. So all the kid consideration associated with having kids and managing kids and managing their schedules and managing their hunger and managing their temper and just, of course, children are amazing and they're brilliant and we love them. And oh my gosh. And I think any parent or aunt or uncle or grandmother, grandfather, babysitter, nanny, brother, sister, anybody that knows a child can relate to the fact that, sometimes it's really great to have this private, intimate time together, whether it's at an amusement park or a hotel or watching TV. It's just really great pause to be in each other's space. And you and I get along so great anyway. And I just really enjoy your company, and we're friends and we're giddy and we're silly and we're fun. And then, again, to be in this space. And when we cruised, we were like back and forth across the park, and we were like, oh, let's go here. And again, to not have to really deal with any of those things like, well, I'm hungry and I don't want to go on this ride, or
we would have had a great time with the boys.
Of course.
I have no doubt that we would have had a great time with the boys. And I know that we had a great time without the boys. And I know that we rode more rides because the boys weren't with us, which was awesome
for sure.
Too.
Yeah, we used to live in New York City, folks. We walk fast.
Yes. Awesome.
And Chicago. Yeah, so we definitely walk fast. But I just really appreciated being in our own space, in our own schedule, our own timeline.
So that was like really some shared magic. Did you have any other specific magic you wanted to share with the people?
Well, I think it's appropriate and really quite parallel to our conversation today is around the hoops and loops and scoops of recording the podcast. So we're recording the podcast. We set out to do the time to record the podcast. We have the lights set up and the camera set up and the equipment set up and the card ready to go and the laptops, and like we're ready to go, and the house is quiet, like the boys are prepped. Okay, we're going to be recording and all things are ready to go. And then we misplaced our normal video card and or recording card. I don't even know what it's called.
The SD card.
Yep. Okay. So we misplaced it, but we have a backup. And so we were using the backup for the recording, which would have normally been fine, except you had this horrific face come over you about 15 or 16 minutes in. You just stopped and looked at me, and you were just like, mother bleep. And I'm like, what is going on? And I just stopped talking, and you pointed down to the card, and I see it blinking. And it said card full, card full, card full, card full, or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? And so you hit pause.
Well, I didn't have to hit pause, but we hit pause.
True. That's
right.
True.
Yeah. So we stopped recording and had an opportunity to get with each other around, being frustrated. We have schedules that are tight for the most part. I mean, we find plenty of time to hang out and what we call white space, where we regroup and regenerate and rejuvenate, take care of ourselves and each other and our children. And in the same breath, we had scheduled some time and we're planning to watch a movie with the boys and that kind of stuff after recording, and it stopped recording. And I like being like, one and done. I don't like pausing. I don't like going. I like just having this real natural, conversation with you and keep things moving. So, I had to give myself about a couple of things. I had to give myself about the card and it not working and kind of losing the original card and then having to re-record.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was a great opportunity for you and I to get with it because I know some things were coming up for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like the world kind of started coming in, and I'm like, wait a minute, what does this mean? Do we have to record, or are we going to splice two things together again, or like the two recordings together, and is that going to work, and how's that going to sound to our community? And wait a minute, we were in such great rapport that day anyway,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, are we going to be able to match our energy? And this is just so interesting. And how does this work? And then, you started talking like technical data. I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Just tell me if this is enough room on the card or not, and what to do next. Like just bleh. And so it really started piling on, and it was a perfect circumstance for us to move through that whole experience of the unpredictability of it. Like it was like predictable, but it was unpredictable. And so like the blame conversation started happening. Like it was, why don't we have the right card? What happened to the card? Where did the card go? Where are we going to find the time? I can't believe this happened. We already carved this out. We were late as it is, but we kept our commitment. But I'm not interested in recording right now, even if we did, because now it's like 7:30 or something like it all just started piling on. And I was like, so I went into this space, and I am reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. And I went into, and it's all about vulnerability and practicing vulnerability. And so I've been practicing vulnerability and like remaining open in lieu of locking it down and then just going ham, just getting into that masculine energy and be like, oh my gosh, like super production, like what's happening? What do we need to do to fix it? How do we do this? Da, 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 da. And like that intellectualization doesn't assist the situations like that. It actually exacerbates the situation. And
right.
So you've helped me point that out and like highlight that for me, as has being in therapy, as has our community, and like leading from the heart space. And my word of the year is synergy. And so that means being in synergy with my heart and my mind. And so I said, okay, remain open. So I shared with you vulnerably where I was, and you were like, yeah, I got you. And so like you literally just like stood up, and I shared all that with you. Like it's coming in, it's piling on, da, 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 da. And then you stood up and you embraced me and you hugged me, you kissed me. We moved a little bit of sexual energy, which was really beautiful. And then it was like gone. And then what was cool was we were like, okay, we'll record again on Sunday. Done. And then we were downstairs getting ready for dinner. And then the breakdown or like the energy changed, I felt for you. And I feel like you were like, where's the card? What's happening to the card? I don't understand what the card is. What's going on with the card? Like, there was just some energy around.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty intentional with, how I do certain things and, in between sessions and where I put things or how I do things. I mean,
there's a system.
Yeah. And there's one of two places the card always is after recording every single time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't there.
Right.
And I have no idea where it is. I still don't know where it is.
Right. And so that created a feeling of,
yeah, I mean, there was a breakdown within myself, I just, of guilt or, not doing things good enough or, why can't I remember where I put it, whatever, just all the stuff that's lesser than, it just wasn't empowering. So, and I let you know that.
Yeah. So then you shared with me and you started it with, I'm being vulnerable right now, and this is what's coming up for me. Like, I'm really blaming myself for this instance. Like, I should have done something better than I did, and, the blame is happening. And so it was just really beautiful how you shared that. And it was such a vulnerable, intimate moment, and we both remained open, and we both just synergized and transmuted the energy. And I hugged you, and you hugged me, and like I said, we were in the kitchen and we're like, all right, let's, cool. Like, let it go. And like, let's do our family thing.
Yep.
And it was beautiful after that. It was really beautiful. We cooked and we had this gorgeous family dinner, and we finished watching. I think we were watching Batman with Bane, and it was just a really beautiful evening. So all of that resulted out of that conversation and all the work. Well, the conversation with the breakdown around the podcast, and it's just indicative of all of the work that we've been doing with each other and communicating, and so all of that for sure plays into what we're talking about today, because what a beautiful metaphor of a roller coaster and a 22-year marriage. Like if we're thinking about a roller coaster, like we've been talking about this, reflecting on this, and sharing our stories and our Six Flag stories with everybody that's asking about our anniversary and congratulating us on the anniversary. And it's just like, yeah, what a perfect metaphor. A roller coaster, it's thrilling and it's scary and it's unpredictable, but it's predictable. Like you see it for what it is, but once you're on the ride, it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. And then,
yeah, I mean, you're upside down, you're doing loop-de-loops. Sometimes you're in a corkscrew, and then sometimes the view is amazing. You're at the top and you're hanging out, and the very next second you're plunging down and you're scared out of your mind. I mean, all such a metaphor for marriage, life,
relationships,
circumstances, money, sex, religion,
real estate.
I
mean, the ebbs and flows of real estate and the cycles. I mean, it's just, it's really beautiful. So we jotted down some ideas just again to reflect on how all of those things are so similar, and some of the key things that I think were super important for me anyway were that when you're on top, it's amazing when you're on top, and as you're coming down, again, it's thrilling, it's terrifying, it's shrieking, it's you don't know, you can't see the blind spots maybe because your perspective is so different from when it was on the ground than when you're actually in the
on the ride or
on the ride. Yeah. I mean, you're on the ride of a lifetime, right? So when you're down, it's like, whoo, and then you feel like really low, and then or you feel like that downward pressure of gravity, and you lose your stomach, or your stomach flips a little bit, and it's like, oh, it's remembering that you have tools, or like you have a personal toolbox when you're on the down, or you're in the lows, or you have the mechanisms in place when you hit the low spots that will eventually, move you in the direction, the ebb.
Absolutely.
The ebb and flow of it.
Yep. When you hit the bottom, that there are mechanisms that are going to take you back to the top. If you're on the roller coaster, you hit the bottom, that there's a chain drive that's going to get you back up to the top of the roller coaster. And, in relationships, when you hit the bottom, there are tools that you can draw upon. You may have them in your tool belt in that moment, or you can go get those tools to help you get back to the top. It's the same. It's crazy how it's the same thing. For sure.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. I appreciate all that. I appreciate, that, it's terrifying and exciting at the same time, and scary and crazy at another time. And, sometimes there's just patience, you're waiting in line to get on the ride, and you got to have some patience with that, and, when you're in a relationship, part of holding space is, and the grace is the patience. Sure. The patience with yourself, the patience with others, the patience with your children. I mean, and part of the patience is being present. And the great thing about a roller coaster is you don't really have time to do anything else but be present, and being present with your spouse, or being present with your kids or your family members will help you to be patient and be present and remain where you are, instead of the worry or the concern that can creep in from what's happened before or what could happen. So all beautiful for sure.
Yes.
It's all awesome.
It is all awesome. And it took us a minute to get to that point where it was all awesome, because when you're in a relationship, again, just like when you're on a scary roller coaster or a scary ride, it doesn't even have to be a roller coaster. It's just whatever you deem scary, right? At the park. So your limiting beliefs are confronted. Like your fears are confronted. Do I have enough time? Is the structure sound? Like, is the scaffolding sound? Like, if you think about the structure of the roller coaster or the scaffolding of the relationship. Like, is it stable? Like, is the foundation stable? Or is it, am I walking on eggshells? Or, again, is it unsafe? So time, is this the right place, right time? Is it how long am I going to have to wait in this line? How long do I have to be patient? Are they ever going to see my point of view? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's all of those things. Is it too long? Like, am I in this situation too long? Or am I not in it long enough? Or just, it's just fascinating. And then again, I'm terrified. I'm afraid it's too high. I'm afraid of heights.
Right.
Or, it's too low. Or I don't want to go upside down. Mm-hmm. Or I don't want to go through this, or any of those things. Like, those are all.
Or it could be the other thing. This roller coaster, you go to the other side of it. And, hey, this thing, it's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Why am I on this baby roller coaster?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Or it's just not that thrilling.
Yeah, it's not that thrilling. Maybe I need to go check out that other roller coaster over there.
Right.
Because this one isn't all that great.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great. It's great. But all of that stuff is confronted. Like, as you're walking up to the roller coaster, and the decision to get on the line for the roller coaster, it's like, I'm choosing this one. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't want to choose this one, So it's fascinating. So I just really appreciate the opportunity to look at all of that, all of the metaphors and all of the symbolism of it. And, so that precipitated a conversation, obviously, with us over the course of the last week with, our family and friends and us and even the kids. And so we continue to reach out to the community. We're like, hey, we want to hear from you guys. What do you think your best practices are? Or what's been the best advice that you've received maybe to date or ever, or how do you, work within your marriage? So I just wanted to read a couple of these.
Cool.
Or we can just go through them all, because I think they're all fantastic. And I just really appreciate, everybody taking the time to assist with these golden nuggets. So, hopefully you guys can get some great hits off of this too. So Patty says, keep dating each other forever. Amen.
Yeah.
Or we have a date night every week.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us a minute to get there. So it first started out as once a month, and then it went to once every other week, and then it went to once a week. So keep dating each other forever.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Jessica said, is that right, Jessica?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Jessica said, I feel you truly have to be friends. Not just husband and wife. Some couples give their friends more grace than their spouse. You are on the same team. Go team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yep. Bonnie said, continue to collect evidence. I love this. Continue to collect evidence of why you're perfect for each other and why you love each other.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Yes. Again, evidence is the magic. What you focus on expands.
Dory said, I think there's a typo here. We agree to accept each other for who we are. We didn't get married to change one another. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Denise wrote, when a couple shares enough years and decades together, they're bound to hit some tough times. So value the simple joys and pleasures that you experience together each and every ordinary day. It will give you the strength and keep you afloat when the sea gets rough, and strive to remain unique individuals within your marriage and family. Your individuality is what attracted you to one another in the beginning. Keep it.
That's great.
Yeah, huge.
Deidre says, always support each other's uniqueness and ambition. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Totally amazing.
Yeah.
And coming from Deidre, I totally get that about them and their relationship for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful advice.
Yep. Carl said, criticize slow and forgive fast.
Yes.
Oi.
Yep.
See, these are some great ones.
They are great. And some of them, I like criticize slow, forgive fast. I can see where that is an amazing tool, and where in the moment, that's a tool that can be practiced, because sometimes things can, in the heat of the moment, things can kind of fall off off by the wayside, and you kind of forget what to do to get back into rapport. And this would be a great one to keep in your tool belt for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What did your mom have to say about marriage?
Truly listen and make sure you are heard and understood. So that's habit number 5.
Yeah.
Empathic listening and seek first to understand, then be understood.
From 7 Habits.
Yeah, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, habit 5.
And then actually our buddy Tim.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
Gave, I think this was marriage advice that he got from his dad that he passed on to us when you were asking for that for this stuff. And it said, never hang wallpaper or go canoeing together and you'll be just fine. Hysterical.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. So that's that's pretty much what I got.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate us going through the exercise of, looking at the metaphor and finding everything there is to all the juice to squeeze out of that one. Cause, it's a great one for sure. I mean, we've heard the metaphors about, roller coasters in life and,
roller coasters in real estate
and or financial roller coaster. I mean, it's just great to tie it back and to have those conversations. And, we're happy to have a conversation with, any of our listeners that want to give us a call or chime in and leave a comment. Nancy and I are happy to spend some time with you and talk about that roller coaster a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's working, what's not working, and maybe a couple of art forms, some actions, some relationships or thoughts, that we could give to you that you could possibly use as a tool to move your relationship forward too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let us know.
Absolutely. Of course, if you feel like you have value or received value from the podcast or any of the posts or what we have to say, feel free to contribute. We have a Venmo set up at J.A.M Coaching, and $1, $2, $5. All of it goes back into the podcast to, fully supercharge and support the podcast and it creates
buy memory cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
All of those things for sure. So we appreciate all of your support in all ways and how it shows up in any way that it does. And it's just really beautiful. So Instagram is at Sex Money Real Estate. Of course, our website is sexmoneyrealestate.com, which is where you can review us for a 5-star review and write some cutie pie little comments. And hit us up.
Awesome.
We'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. All for now. We thank you for tuning in, checking us out, staying with us to the end.
I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you on the flip side.
Yes. Bye for now. Bye.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow the show. I'm Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And remember, it's a great life.
Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.